The specter of despair loomed large over our cursed home. Each dawn brought with it fresh horrors. Each dusk delivered new terrors. This house, this monstrous edifice of fear, had drained our happiness, robbed us of our loved ones. It had fed off our sorrow, thrived on our terror. And now, it had returned for more. The old man, his face now as familiar as the very horrors we'd faced, reappeared. He bore a message, a horrific ultimatum that curdled my blood. One of us had to die, a sacrifice to appease the insatiable maw of this nightmare. The words hung in the air like a carrion bird, their dark meaning casting long, frightening shadows over our hearts. Desperate, we decided to leave it to fate. Spinning a bottle felt absurd, yet chillingly appropriate. Our lives had become a macabre game, a monstrous plaything in the hands of this town. As the bottle twirled, our hearts pounded in sync with its rotations. The bottle stopped, its silent verdict echoing louder than any spoken word. It had chosen Elena. Tears welled up in my eyes as I took in my wife, her courage stark against the backdrop of our damned existence. I raised my gun, its cold metal and icy reality. It was the instrument of our salvation, the harbinger of our end. The gunshot echoed in the silent room, a grim symphony of our final act. Elena fell, her lifeblood seeping into the floor, her sacrifice our last hope. Tears coursed down my face as I looked at the old man. A single word escaped my lips, a name that carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. Dad. The revelation hit me as I understood the true nature of our tormentor. This old man, the harbinger of our horrors, was my father. He'd been trapped here, his spirit bound to this cursed town. He needed a sacrifice to break free, to finally rest. There was a brief moment of silence, the world pausing in the wake of our horrendous act. Then, almost as if a dreadful shroud had been lifted, a sense of eerie calm washed over us. We'd done it. The sacrifice had been made. Our nightmare was over. I scooped up Mike, his small body shaking in my arms. His wide eyes bore into mine, their innocence forever marred by the horrors we'd witnessed. I clutched him close, his presence the only shred of normalcy left in our shattered world. With my father beside me, we made our way out of the house, our footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The oppressive weight of terror lifted, replaced by a chilling void. Our house, our prison, was finally behind us. We piled into the car, the engine's purr the sweetest sound we'd heard in a long time. As we hit the road, each mile a step closer to our freedom, the town of horrors faded into the distance. It was over. Our terror had finally ended. The last chapter of our chilling tale had been written, its pages painted with our sacrifice, our pain, and our freedom. Our lives had been twisted into a tale of horror and suspense. Every day a struggle for survival, every night a fight against fear. We had paid the ultimate price, made the ultimate sacrifice. We had stared into the eyes of fear, and emerged scarred but alive. We had wrestled with our nightmares and survived. And as I drove away from the cursed town, with my son by my side and the ghost of my wife in my heart, I realized that we weren't just survivors. We were fighters. We had faced the worst horrors imaginable, and yet, we held on. We fought, not just for survival, but for hope, for the promise of a better tomorrow. This was our story, a chilling saga of terror, sacrifice, and survival. We had lived it, fought it, survived it. And though it was over, it would forever remain with us, a grim reminder of our ordeal. But we were ready to move on, to start anew, to find hope amidst the ashes of our past. We had survived the House of Horrors, and now we were ready to face the world.